5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
What is going on, everybody? You hate to say we finally made it to the end of the football season, but after this Vikings season, we have finally made it to the last week of the Minnesota Vikings football season. Absolute roller coaster, and I'm happy the roller coaster is finally getting back to the entrance so I can get off and leave the amusement park for a while and wait to see how they improve it next year. I don't know. Anyway,
Yeah.
how are you guys feeling tonight?
First off, let me do some shout outs here. What's up, Gary in the building? Sub Skulls mates. What's going on, Gary? We got Al Smith in here. This is my way I would approach the competitive way. This is my way I would approach being competitive and still lose.
Yeah. That's what Nick Mullins getting in there does, you know? It's like you're tanking yet you're not.
Yeah, exactly. And then hopefully you still give JJ his stats. You still get JJ his stats.
Get JJ his 1K.
Dave, I sent you an email. I believe he did.
I actually just responded.
He just responded. Hey, Dylan, Gary, good news. Our season is just starting, draft season. That's what we feel. Losing to the Packers the way we did, it's gonna make you feel that way. And going into this Lions game where, I think a lot of people are, there's still going to be that divide between we should never want the Vikings to lose and the other ones where it's obvious the smart thing is for the Vikings to lose because there's basically no reason to win this game, I guess. What are you guys at with that? Dave, I don't even know your opinion on that because obviously you're kind of the guy for sure.
Hey, I accept the results.
Yeah.
Because I don't root for failure.
Yeah.
And I find just as much in the other. There's people that believe the same way I do. I want players to succeed, and the results is winning a game and dropping a few draft picks. And we found something out of a young guy. Like hell, if we put Lewis Cine in there for 40 snaps or Booth in there for 40 snaps, and they fucking shine, against really good offensive players because they're playing their starters. I'm like, that is more to me than the 2 spots in the draft, honestly. And the fact that we didn't give up, that guys will want to stay here. You can tell if people want to stay here by the way they play, right? And it's like, I'd rather have guys want to stay here, and show good tape, show that they want to be here. If there's a guy on the field quitting, I don't want him back, right? I don't want him here.
Which it did look like a couple of the guys quit against Green Bay, though. That's one thing that you did kind of notice. There's a couple guys out there that looked like they were just out there.
Who do you think? Like, name somebody. Like, it felt like it was a group effort of I forgot how to fucking tackle.
Well, right? Yeah, that's kind of what.
It's
been like that for 3 weeks now.
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
It did feel. I think once it was obvious that this game was getting out of our hands. Yeah, it did kind of. There's no question we weren't playing competitive anymore, especially on defense.
Except for Najee Thompson.
Except for Najee Thompson. Oh,
yeah.
Najee Thompson.
He's earned himself another couple of years, probably.
Right. That was enough. That was enough to probably change everything around if we weren't already like getting our ass whooped too hard.
Well, if we don't fumble and give them another touchdown before the half, right?
Mm-hmm.
We might have a shot come back, right? But
yeah.
No.
Which young guys did you actually find something through this season? Ivan Pace would be a huge one, but Ivan Pace is like a massive one, to be honest. Well, Jordan Addison, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can't. Blackman too. Blackman and Addison.
Yeah,
Blackman for sure.
And I think Dave's point is more of if someone who hasn't gotten an opportunity, they just put them out there to get their opportunity in a spot like this and just hope that they can.
And so this is feeling. So I'm on the same situation to you.
Perfect example.
I want your opinion on this, Dave. So obviously you told me what you said, but if we were to lose, you wouldn't be mad.
I would accept the results.
Yeah. So I'm on team. I want us to make the smart play here overall. Like if you put a gun to my head and said, "Hey, do you want them to lose to get a better draft pick?"
I accept the results.
Yeah.
There's different levels of I would be pretty happy if they played well.
Yeah.
And then you're like, we lost. Oh, the other teams lost too, or the other teams won. We weren't going to get in the playoffs.
Right,
I would
right,
have
right.
different levels of satisfaction
Right.
of how the results were. It could be like, oh my God, we just played like we did against the Packers. I'm gonna fucking hate it. And
Yeah.
but
Get
I'm
our
like,
asses
okay,
whooped.
we got a draft pick in a couple of spots. There's no guarantee we even get a jump in the draft at all. We could still be what 12.
Kind of stick right at 12.
Yeah, I think that's
We
a
could still
possibility.
be at 12 if the other teams
I'll
lose too.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's how that. I think it is that because the only question mark it would be the Bears, but ultimately I do
Bears
think
beat the Lions, then we actually drop, right?
no because so I think so we
Or Bears beat the Packers.
the
How is
Bears
that?
beat the Lions. They beat the Lions and we beat the Packers, but we lost. Well, if we lose, we lose twice to the Lions.
This week though.
If the Bears lose to the Packers, then they split the season with the Packers. They already beat the Packers once this season.
Okay.
So if we both lose, it's going to come all the way
the
down
other way around.
to
Then if the Bears beat the Packers, then we actually gain a spot. If we lose,
yeah. If the Bears beat the Packers, we gain a spot. But if all the teams below us, if we lose, if all the teams below us lose, I ultimately think we stay at 12. So we kind of need those teams to win if we want to go any further down, which could go all the way up to the 9th pick. But I do believe the furthest, if we win, the furthest we can go up is 14. And that's because I don't know what our situation with Seattle is.
I'm not going to be happy I'm not going to feel great if we go from winning the division to 4th in the division.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like,
that nice 4th place.
Hey, what up, Steve?
Yeah. But you get that nice 4th place.
Which is the results I would be accepting.
Yeah. And the results, and then another thing, I mean, obviously, hey, I don't care what anybody says. We got excuses this year. We lost our starting quarterback. We had a carousel of quarterbacks going back and forth starting. I mean, if that's not an excuse, what is? So I can live with, if we ended up being in last division, it's not a real last in the division.
There's a difference between us sitting around talking about, hey, situations and this, then going on the morning of Twitter and talking about, hey, you guys excited how we can lose and do better in the draft the day we're playing the Packers? Yeah. It's like there's a difference between what we're doing now and what people do.
There was we had the control to make playoffs at that moment. Technically, I mean, we needed Seattle or Rams to lose, but
we had like a 96%. And we did. Actually, Seattle lost. So we then now controlled our destiny.
Yeah. And then for me, it was the Jaren Hall thing. Because to me, I was like, well, if Jaren Hall comes in and ends up winning us this game and wins us the next game and brings us to playoffs, that's good news. That means Jaren Hall
was a completely different dude than I expected.
Yeah, exactly.
From the preseason and that game, the 2 times he stepped in and played.
Yeah,
he was completely.
There was a lot of headlights. There was a lot of pressure there. Like, there's a lot of scenarios.
Darisaw didn't give him any help.
Right. But it was obvious. It was obvious to see him to at least some extent be like, all right, it seems like the game is a little fast for him. He is 25 years old. So part of you is like, it made it more obvious. Like, all right, I feel comfortable for sure going into this draft and grabbing your quarterback. Like Jaren Hall didn't show enough for us to be like,
he's.
Well, then it's
it's not worth our time to for sure like stop drafting a quarterback.
And this hasn't been known as a great defense, right? Like this year, they weren't a very good defense.
But then
Mr. McMadden.
I know a lot of people are blaming O'Connell for it's his fault. He didn't put him in very good situations and didn't really give him a chance. And then someone showed a still shot of a play where he was standing in the pocket with plenty of time, and there was 3 wide receivers open around him, and he just didn't make the throw.
The still shot brigade came out in force against Jaren Hall this game, but I think all of it was true because I was in game going, oh my God, that guy's coming open. He's running what? And I was a big stickler on. I know Cousins and Mullins throw with anticipation. Mm-hmm. Like they'll throw to that spot and the guy will run to it, right? And I thought, Dobbs, no way, not at all. And then I'm like, I saw that in Jaren Hall. I thought he could do that, and I seen him do it, and he did not do it in this game. He had those opportunities, and he wasn't finding them, and they were there.
Yeah, and that was a huge That was a huge disappointing thing. That was the big thing for me though. That's why I was like, hey, that's why I wasn't out on playoffs at this point and was ready to just tank as some people were. It mostly was just because we haven't really seen what we had in Hall yet. Because if we didn't have Hall and we were just rolling with Nick Mullins, it would have been obvious. Like Nick Mullins isn't. If we make it to playoffs, we're not going to do anything there. But if Jaron Hall stepped in, won us these last 2 games, meaning he must have played pretty good. If he brought us to playoffs, who knows what would have happened? But obviously that was.
I think if we started Mullins in this game, it would have been closer, but we still would have got beat by 2 scores. That our defense was absolutely horrible.
My turn.
And this time I don't blame it on individual. I blame it on individual effort because people aren't tackling, but this time it was like the Donishell defense. Everybody was wide ass open.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Dude. My point for Hall, and I'm like, okay, this is just not going to happen, is when he threw the Nick Mullins duck. I'm like, oh my goodness. Okay. Like wide open, no pressure, throws that absolute
I know.
duck.
I was like,
they show Kevin O'Connell on the sidelines, and he's
talking about that 3rd and 15 where he overthrew the
over or under.
All I remember it was an absolute duck, and I'm like, okay, yep, this ain't it.
They showed it right after it slipped out of his hand. It looked like
oh god,
and he's like,
this ain't it.
Hey, actually, 1 second here, boys. So again, another show, another Justin Jefferson rookie card. If there's one thing I absolutely would like to see, and even though I do think playing Nick Mullins instead of Jaron Hall is kind of like you want to win type of choice, I guess.
But yet he'll put you in a position to lose.
Yeah. He is the guy that can get our boy over 1,000 yards. He is the right choice for that, and that's what I'm rooting for in this game, is for our guy Justin Jefferson to get his 1,000 yards this season. Everybody get those hashtag Skols in the comments for your chance to win this card at the end of the show. Like the video and subscribe to both of our channels, GG Sports Podcast and Minnesota Sports Talk with Dave's. All that good stuff, but that's it. I want Justin Jefferson to get his 1,000 yards, and he needs like 130 to do that. And Nick Mullins, I mean, he might throw 5 interceptions doing it, but he is the man for the job in this scenario.
I think weeks ago that Mullins gives Justin Jefferson the best opportunity. Like he should be wanting him if you want, to get his yards. And I think I'm right. I think it's a definite that he's going to get out of the three backups that he's the guy that can give us the most offense, right? Whether the most turnovers, probably too. It's a toss up between him and Dobbs, but
I think Dave, I think Nick Mullins is the perfect quarterback for the game. You said that you'd be the, I guess, least okay with. I mean, I don't know. If they lose, I know you said if you lose, you'll accept the results. Nick Mullins is the way that they'll look competitive, but yet probably still lose. Like he's the ultimate quarterback for that scenario.
Yeah, I mean he's the funnest quarterback on our roster, at least for sure.
I want to see us do something,
20s,
right?
Between the 20s, amazing. Get him into the red zone though. He's gonna make some really bad.
Oh yeah, and Dobbs is the exact opposite. You get him in the red zone, he's good.
Between the 20s, oh god.
Look at this guy here. He's gonna have a good game.
Brian
hopefully.
Branch. Yep.
Yeah, just kidding.
Nice.
How did he do this year? I haven't kept
really
track.
good.
He's been
good.
solid,
he did so good that I wish we would have waited this year.
Addison?
Oh, no, not me personally. I think Addison's going to be so good, and we needed him. But over Lewis Cine, yes. If we would have waited a year to grab a safety, it probably would have been not a bad idea. And if it was Brian Branch, he's going to be a really good player.
Kyle Hamilton over them both. Yes.
Yeah, I'll take Kyle Hamilton over them both. Yeah. And then Steve, I seen earlier you asked we'll get which quarterbacks we'd want in the draft. We'll circle back to that.
That's a fun conversational topic that'll probably take up a good 45 minutes. So let's get everything else out of the way.
I didn't watch your whole video. Did you guys decide on you wanted Russell Wilson?
No. Watch to find out.
Between the two, no.
I made it dramatic, kind of, but I would go Kirk. Yeah, I saw that. I made it dramatic, but I'd go Kirk Cousins over Wilson. Though I'm not. I would say if I was in playoffs, I might go towards Wilson. But pretty much everything else, I do think Kirk Cousins is a better quarterback right now, and mostly from I think Wilson will probably try to get more money than Kirk Cousins does this offseason, which I don't like. And I also feel like you'd rather have your future quarterback, your young quarterback, be behind Kirk Cousins than
my
Russell Wilson.
point to that was in Kirk's favor is that 2 years under the offense and Wilson would come in cold.
Yep,
Right,
that was another thing Jamie and I brought up as well.
To Evil, let's go. Thanks GG and Dave for the stream. I appreciate all the work you guys put in for your streams on a regular basis. Potluck at my place Sunday in Minneapolis. Hey, anybody who's in Minneapolis, I'm not in Minneapolis.
Bring the napkins.
But yeah, I'll send some napkins through Amazon. But anybody else in Minneapolis, go to Two Evil's potluck. I'm assuming you actually have a potluck. I can never know with Two Evil if he's kidding or not with anything he says. But if he's having a potluck, dude's a great dude. Definitely go over there for sure.
Absolutely. So we decided.
I'm not kidding. Yeah,
a big part is for the reason you said.
I'd go if I was there Two Evil.
Because we know that
what up, Bobby?
If you're going to bring in a young quarterback to learn from one of them, you want it to be the guy who's been in this offense for a couple of years. So that was the big reason why Kirk Cousins was our choice. But obviously,
it wouldn't make sense.
Overall choice to be his quarterback.
But the big thing was just because we got a lot of why are you even asking this question and all that kind of stuff. But once Russell Wilson was benched or whatever, he became the number one. Vikings were the number one odds to land Russell Wilson. So it felt like it needed to be talked about.
And it's content.
Getting unsubscribed? You keep getting unsubscribed? YouTube, what the hell are you trying to do out here? How are we supposed to hustle out here and they're just unsubscribing people? That's messed up.
So I think just your thoughts on it. Earlier in the year, Kirk got the Achilles, and then right after that, Kwesi was like, "Oh, I felt optimistic because Kirk was telling me about coming back for ATOs, and I got kind of uplifted by that." And Kevin O'Connell was gushing about him, but then recently, Justin Jefferson, now on 2 different occasions, just reaped all sorts of love onto Kirk, including I think today, where he says, "If it's Kirk, great." And then he said, "If it's somebody else, then I have no control over it."
I mean, but he did end that quote with saying, "I do feel like they will make the right decision." So I don't know. It's a topic,
but I'm just saying, doesn't that? And then the team puts him out and to do the Matterhorn and lead the Skol chant. How often have you ever seen an active Viking on the roster lead the Skol chant and do it? That's probably the first time. Do we ever have an injured player go out there and do it before? I just feel like it's like, hey, you got your top number 1 receiver, best player in the game, right? You've already talked about him as a GM. You already talked to him about, and everything's been glowing, and I'm excited, uplifted because he's talking about coming back to OTAs, and then you go, hey, how about you go up and do the Skol chant against the Packers? Just I feel like there's conversations behind that, like, hey, you still have a future here type of thing. I think it's more leaning towards that. Still draft a QB, right? But I just feel like it's going that direction. I don't feel like, and I was told I was reading too much into that.
I think
last night.
I definitely think there's something there. I can totally understand why anybody would think that, and I do think that to some extent. Though I do think, based off of moves we've done, and me and Casey are talking about this, I just think we see everything with our head coach. We see everything JJ says, but I think Kwesi's back there, and I do think him not extending Kirk Cousins for 2 more years, and I do think what was the other scenario we were talking about, Casey?
Not signing Kirk, and there was something else. I thought that was kind of just it.
No. There was one more.
What happened to the last coach that had 2 losing seasons in a row?
I mean, I don't know. And that's the thing.
Hey, what up, Tim?
There's a lot when it comes to this. There's a ton to unpack with it, and that's obviously why it's going to be the focal point of conversations until.
The quarterback. It was just the reports. First off, reports coming out with how in depth we've been looking at JJ McCarthy plus Jaden McDaniels and the Vikings. Reports were coming out around the Kirk extension situation that the Vikings are really interested in the idea of getting a quarterback on a rookie contract. So everything that goes behind, if you're a GM, you're not. I don't care if Kirk goes down and then backups quarterback comes in and it's obvious that this team is, those guys are not as good as Kirk Cousins and they're not going to be running this offense as good as Kirk Cousins. If you're the GM, it's your job to kind of look past that noise and still go with what you believe is the right thing for this team in the future. And it just, the writing on the wall to me seemed like it was more important for Kwesi to everything looked like he was going into this season wanting to go get his quarterback of the future, at least at some point in the near future. So I do think since Kwesi ultimately makes the choices, I just have a feeling that, not to say that they don't think it's more important to keep Kirk Cousins around.
Well, I also left out the part that beginning of the year that Kirk wanted 3, they offered him 2. And
I forgot. I thought it was 1 and 2. So is that what it was? 3 and 2?
Kirk wanted 3.
I thought it was. I thought
they
it was
offered him 2, but he wanted it guaranteed,
including this year. Yeah,
he wanted it guaranteed.
Mm-hmm. But I mean,
all tiers.
My thing, and as Jamie, I believe
I've said state of mind.
Oh, they can change their mind, right? I have no problem with that. It's like, I'm just saying the writing has been like this all along. So, but if the money is not agreed upon or the terms are not agreed upon, the guarantees are not agreed upon, then if it doesn't make any sense, then I can understand moving on.
But I think, in my opinion, though, I do think there's a chance where you do feel a little bit more, as long as Kirk's willing to be team friendly and all that stuff, like maybe they put a similar deal on the table this offseason.
Yeah, it's the hope, right?
Yeah, I do think for sure, like in their head, they're like, oh, they're going towards their quarterback of the future. If it comes down to like Kirk Cousins or quarterback of the future, I really think that Kwesi wants a quarterback of the future.
I think you'd be dumb not to, right?
Yeah, especially if we end up with like a 9th pick. I know everybody's kind of coming in here with all this college quarterback talk, but in seeing that's not the hope. Raps in the building. What up, dude? But yeah, seeing how Penix played in that Sugar Bowl and seeing
it's
how
not
he plays.
The hope. I just said the future quarterback's the hope. I thought you would agree with that, Rap.
Hey, what up, Sarah? What up, Sodak? I'm missing people here. Did I get everybody? I think everybody new in here. Oh, Tim, what up, Tim? What up, everybody? Hey, everybody in here. Again, I've already said it. Justin Jefferson, 1,000 yards. That's what we want. We got Nick Mullins. He's going to be the job to do it. Ultimately, it probably should lose this game, but we need Justin Jefferson to hit that 1,000 mark. Hit the subscribe, hit the like, put hashtag Skol in the comment for your chance to win this Justin Jefferson rookie card, all that good stuff. But get those hashtag Skols in. Sarah, I know you're in here. It's been a while. Gary's been the one that's been on a heater. He's won 3 in a row. So,
what college quarterback? Well, I know everyone wants to talk about it. What college quarterbacks
Let's just
you
do
got
it.
in on? Is everybody off of Penix because of his knee or something? I mean, the production.
I think it's what's probably going to keep him out of the top 10 personally. Like, I think, like me and Jamie were talking about earlier, I think he's a top 10-ish. I think if he plays well in the playoff game, he's probably a top 10-ish talent. But the fact that he's 24 already, plus the 2 ACL tears, I think it's going to make teams a little too risk averse on him. But I think he'll end up moving top. I would guess if he plays well in the championship game and pro days and OTAs, or pro days and the combine goes well, I could see him being a top 15 for sure.
Yeah,
I think his arm and accuracy are the things that I love the absolute most.
Yeah,
he makes things happen, and I love that.
But what everyone's saying, the knee thing is scary, and as soon as we drafted him, immediately, I mean, it'd be in the back of all of our heads, right?
But
like we're just waiting for it.
But the dude can still run, though. That's the thing. Like he had a couple design runs in the playoff game,
and it is good that he went 2 years without any injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Like I mean, it's possible. There's definitely been players who've had 2 ACL tears for them to still have good careers. I can't think of one on top of my mind. There's definitely been ACL injuries. People,
I mean, Tom Brady doesn't run, but Brady had one. He played till he was 40. So I mean,
the knee thing is gonna be hard, man.
I don't know
it's
what
gonna be hard.
With Dan Marino's knees, but that son of a bitch was wearing cast iron skillets wrapped around his knees.
That's a really good point. Pocket quarterback, good arm, make all the throws, but yet when he has to run, he can run. That's actually a really good point.
You're not getting a completely statue.
I know, what's the quarterback from LSU?
Jaden Daniels.
Is it? Can
Yeah.
he throw?
Yeah, well,
I think
I have to look at him
didn't he?
deeper, but yeah, he had let's get some stats up here. Yeah, he lit the freaking world on fire with his throwing too. I want to go back and kind of, as soon as Sunday's game's over, it's time to start diving into
That's
some
me
players
too. I
here,
I
but
don't even touch it until after the season, and then I dig in.
yeah, I kind of like jump in and watch parts of games, but I don't know.
3,812 passing yards, 40
All right.
touchdowns, 4 interceptions, yards per attempt, 11.7 yards per attempt, 13.6 air yards per attempt.
Yes, and then of course,
pretty
I
good.
mean, you don't even have to talk about his running. So he was
that's
like
pretty
legit.
good,
1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns. Like, Or wait,
Hey,
is that
there's
right?
some good options here.
Looking at it, it's pretty
We'll
crazy.
get ready Sunday, fellas. Dude, I'm ready instantly.
And he's
I'm ready
6'4".
right now. I'm just ready to do it, but I want to know where we're drafting. Like,
And
I
he's
want a
6'4"?
concrete draft
It's
spot.
crazy. 6'4", 210.
Dude. Hey, we have to, and Penix, honestly, I think we have a really good chance at a franchise quarterback in this draft, because I think Penix has the potential to be that. But then it just comes down to, it really is just the injury thing that scares you. And who knows how things are going to roll out through the rest of this offseason.
And he has a little unorthodox delivery, right?
Yeah, a
than being
little bit.
left-handed. It's like,
I mean, he kind of has like
quarters,
a
right?
baseball pitch or something. That's all I see it as.
Which
Even
I
though
mean,
he throws a strike, but
because I know Tebow had the big wind up too when it came to his throwing, but hopefully Penix ain't gonna be like that.
And that's another thing. Washington has the #1 passing offense, so a lot of people will say, obviously, his receivers, and he just has
Those are some
the
tight
counter.
throws I saw in that last game, though.
I know. I was gonna say CJ Stroud. That's what threw me off with CJ Stroud last year, and fuck, was I wrong about that? And
Right.
CJ Stroud literally had the best wide receivers probably in college history.
Mm-hmm.
So
I mean,
I don't think that's too
looking
much.
at some of the throws that Penix made, I don't feel like that's.
Hey, what up, Mike?
Like he was throwing up wide open dudes the whole game. Right?
No, he was making really nice throws. Yeah, I mean, again,
and 400 yards too, right?
Like I liked that game because Penix. I want to see how he looked because I haven't watched enough college football to really know. I've watched some of his games, and then I also want to see how Quinn Ewers looked because the last time I watched a full Quinn Ewers game was against Oklahoma, and he looked terrible. This game, when he finally got into rhythm, he looked pretty good. That was the main reason I wanted to watch that game, was watch those two guys play.
And I brought this up before, but I'm gonna try to get my old high school teammate who was the defensive coordinator for Washington to come on and see if he can talk to me about Penix.
Dude, that'd be sweet.
Yeah, I'm gonna work on that. I don't really know. I could ask his family, but I don't want to. His dad died a couple years ago, and
no, it's gonna be interesting. That's why I don't know. I'm excited for this one because we should have a good chance at getting a guy here. Though it'd be nice if somehow we were able to get one of the top 2 or something. I don't know. Who knows how this is going to work? Because if there's a chance, like I said, I really think Kwesi wants his guy for sure. And if there's a chance where someone, maybe #2, let's say Washington, and this is me thinking that I'm starting to be more and more convinced that the Bears are not going to use the first overall pick to pick a quarterback.
As far as
the fan base,
the smoke screens.
The fan base for sure. I mean, the fan base is going to get tricked too.
Keeping their coach, right?
You told me earlier, fans don't know, Jamie.
I mean, I'm not saying they don't know, but they don't know as much as players. Of course, they don't know as much as players. Anyway, yeah, of course not. But but the fan base is leaning towards keeping Justin Fields and then grabbing a Marvin Harrison, and then DJ Moore is like, that's my quarterback, all this kind of stuff. Not saying for sure, but at the same time, you have to think, well, like, if you're the Bears and you're not convinced that he's not that guy, and hey, I could get an insane amount of picks if I trade, and that's got to be pretty
and like. And here's the two ways. Like the two ways I look at that is let's say you make that choice, you stick with Justin Fields for one more year, and then you grab Marvin Harrison, and then basically this would be the year you say, all right, Justin Fields, you have Marvin Harrison, you have DJ Moore, you have a couple solid running backs. We'll build the defense. This is your year. If it doesn't work this year, we just don't know. Then he comes out and he doesn't play well. Like if he comes out and he plays well, it's an amazing move. If he comes out and he doesn't play well again, he just kind of plays like he has been, which good, not great.
Hey, what up, Skol?
Then you're probably going to get looks like, why did you pass up on a top prospect? And now Like we can't have Caleb Williams, we can't have Drake May. We're stuck with Fields, and he's just not it. Now we got to try to draft somebody else.
Now you're just hoping everybody got their quarterback, and then next year you can pick one.
Well, that's what I'm gonna say. Is now you probably got the Patriots first round pick or whatever. Like maybe you trade two back.
But it could be what if it's the whole Patrick Mahomes things again, where the Bears passed up on Patrick Mahomes for a different quarterback and doesn't work out? I think that'd be hilarious if they got doubled up on that, where they passed up on a generational talent to stick with the guy who they thought was going to be better than.
Who's the generational talent?
Patrick Mahomes.
Oh, in this draft, Caleb Williams.
In this draft,
Caleb Williams.
People would say Caleb Williams and Drake May.
Yeah.
People would say that. I think Caleb Williams, I definitely still think he is, regardless if, he can't get over his own way or whatever people think from a talent-wise. He's got, literally one of the most talented quarterbacks to ever come out of college, probably.
Something else I want to toss out.
He's came down a bit on his hype, and I think it's character issues probably, but.
Something else that I want to toss
out. It's not necessarily – character would mean, like, he doesn't work hard, right? I'm thinking he does. I think it's maturity.
Yeah, mature.
He's been a mama's boy for a very long time, and it shows. And he gets coddled on the sideline by his teammates when he's moping, So I think it's more of a maturity issue, which I think he could get past. I don't think it. I think he's a good kid, right? I don't think there's an issue there. I think it's more of a things weren't going well, so his head's down all the time. And he's 7-5, right? They lost the last 4 games of the season.
I mean, and another thing.
Hey, I hope so. I hope everybody passes up on
is his play in big games. Where like last year in the conference title game, they got the doors blown off with a chance to go to the playoff. This year
he wears fuck Notre Dame on his fingernails. And
this year he doesn't play. This year he doesn't play, and his backup throws 6 touchdowns in their game. So it's like I think that's the thing too. But I mean, but it's all the stuff you see on the field with him, the things he can do moving around and manipulating the pocket, the arm,
and the defense. To his defense, their defense was horrible this year.
So. But another thing that I was talking at work today about Michael Penix is if we do go with him, what does that do to the value of a Christian Darrisaw? Because obviously left tackle is huge, but that's because left tackle is normally the blind side tackle, right? So what does that do to his value? Does he, that's an interesting.
I mean, it's still obviously it's still.
Well, he's still a good offensive lineman,
even though he's
a blind side tackle anymore.
But yeah,
like a blind side tackle, which would be interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
It would decrease the value overall.
Yeah, well, for us, anyways, I guess.
Or if they try to jump him to the other side, which I think would be a dumb move, but.
Ryan O'Neal can probably be good. I mean, he's been kind of
already paid, right?
Yeah, he's already paid, so he'll be the blind side guy, I guess. But having a lefty is going to be super weird.
Interesting, yeah.
I don't know if I love it, just because I'm sorry, Rappy, and I know you're a lefty, but it just looks weird to me. You don't see it often, so Tua obviously is proving that you can be a left-handed quarterback. But
do you guys think that
what up, Dan?
If Penix didn't have the injuries, do you think he'd be a top 5? Does he have enough talent to be like a top 5, 6, 7 pick?
I have to look more into. I have to look more into it. Like I did. I watched parts of his game, and I was impressed what we saw in this last game. I think he's going to get hyped. It was hyped a lot, but then obviously if he wins the national championship, I won't. If he does and he has a good offseason, I won't be surprised if a lot of people are out talking about him being a top 10 quarterback and even saying if it wasn't for that knee, he'd be like top 5. I think it's definitely a possibility, but nobody was really saying that until last game. Like a lot of people had Bo Nixon head of Penix up until this last game.
But I thought that was mainly the knees though that were kind of dropping him down.
I'm sure it was.
I mean because 4,648 yards, 35 touchdowns, 9 picks this year, 4,641 passing yards, 31 touchdowns, 8 picks last year. Like,
and he even looked good earlier in his career, but just got injured.
Good. Yeah, for sure. So it'd be really interesting to see where he'd be placed if he was perfectly healthy.
Yeah, it could be up there. It could be up there.
Would you say that you'd probably put Penix above Anthony Richardson if he was in last year's draft?
No, not yet. No, well, without the knee, maybe after
the pro days.
Right now, I probably would. Now,
after in the pro days, probably not.
After the combine in the pro day situation, when he went from like a second rounder to the 3rd overall. That's what I'm saying. Like anything could happen in this. Like we're talking about it right now, but who knows how this is all going to look? I mean, last year at this point, Will Levis was looked at as like a no-brainer third overall pick, where some people had him going number 2, and then he didn't go. He dropped to the second round, and Anthony Richardson was arguably a second round. Some people said he shouldn't even be in the second round, and then he ended up being third overall. So who knows how this is really going to end up rolling out? But
And then he goes and gets hurt.
I think I would take my chance on Anthony Richardson just because his everything is just insane, like athletically, and I also really like that he just wants to be a good quarterback. Though
I was high on him, man. I was thinking that everything could be coached. He's coachable, and
but Jaden Daniels is smaller, obviously, because Anthony Richardson's an absolute freak. But Jaden Daniels is kind of like, he kind of has all those tools and stuff already, and that's why I think he's already getting that type of.
If he's 6'4" and 210, he might need to put on 10 more pounds. But yeah.
I got him at 6'3", 185. Jaden Daniels.
Ooh.
Oh, really?
Man, that's the one. Really? He's a skinny guy.
That's a Football Reference.
And this was some bullshit that I was looking
at. If you look at him, that's the thing with Jaden Daniels. It's going to be the thin frame. That's going to be the Jaden Daniels thing, is thin frame. I would take Steve would take Penix over Richardson easily.
Google says 210, but
top available edge in the first trade up to 32.
I kind of agree with Steve. I would have probably took Penix over.
You could. I don't know. I have to look at. I don't know. From people I've talked about JJ McCarthy, it's just you're getting a lot of like.
He's the greatest college football player of all time. From what I hear,
McCarthy.
I'm hearing like it's like, but does he really have it? Like,
I haven't watched much on McCarthy, but to me, he strikes me as a type that's just going to be like a game manager type quarterback. But again, I barely watch. That's just what I get because I see some of his stat lines. Like in games Michigan's won, he's thrown for like 80 yards. I'm like, is he the reason they're winning?
I don't like seeing 80 yards. I like when your quarterback just owns that shit. Like Patrick Mahomes, for instance. Penix was the
well, that's the thing. They're kind of comparing Mahomes'
to
trajectory to Penix, right?
Because Penix was the second quarterback ever to have back-to-back 4,000-yard seasons. So I want that. I don't know about McCarthy enough. Does he have a big arm? I don't know. I want a quarterback that can be mobile, but I definitely want a quarterback that I can feel confident can get the ball with zip to our talented receivers.
What if this happens?
First, run when you have to.
Yeah.
Kwesi pisses everybody off. Doesn't draft a quarterback. Picks a badass defensive player. And then, holy shit, Penix, because of his injury history, falls in the second round. Mm-hmm. Late first, and we trade up again. Would you flip out and be happy?
Hardcore. And even with JJ McCarthy, if Michigan wins the national championship, you're going to see. You have a feeling that JJ might actually make it up to the first round, but you do. But like what Dan Henn says, if there's not a guy we absolutely love at our pick and we went to defense and then we still took a shot at JJ McCarthy at the end of the first trading up or whatever, that's not the worst case scenario because I don't think
someone's going to fall, right? Because last year was supposed to be a deep quarterback draft, right?
Will Levis fell. Will Levis, he tumbled. He didn't just fall. He completely crashed earth.
His girlfriend had to pee.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw that video. I gotta pee.
He's like, nope. No, you can't.
Nope, gotta stay there.
Yeah,
wait.
But no, that's what. Who knows how this is gonna roll out? But I think McCarthy and I have not dived far enough deep into any of these quarterbacks to be fair, other than Caleb Williams.
I haven't sorted them yet.
Yeah, so I don't know how I really feel about JJ McCarthy. If I feel like, hey, if he's there in the second, go for him. I do feel confident that if you pick a quarterback in the second round, that you don't feel the need to hold on to that for years or whatever. So I do like
short,
that part.
Right? Like none of the top guys are short.
How tall is JJ McCarthy?
I got 6'3" for McCarthy.
Ooh, that's pretty good. Yeah, all of them are pretty tall. Daniels is the only one that just has like a really thin frame.
6'2".
I mean, obviously Penix is big. Caleb Williams is big.
I mean, Drake May is
really big.
What's Drake May? 6'4"?
He's like 6'6", I think.
6'4" is what I got.
Oh, yeah, 6'4".
So yeah, I mean, I've no shorties. I'm pretty happy there.
Caleb Williams is 6'1".
I have to hold judgment until they have the combine, so I can get their hand size.
Yeah, I know that's the most important thing.
It's important.
Bring back the rise in there.
I mean, look at Kenny Pickett right now. He's getting
That's the last
his
thing I
job's-
want. I
he's
don't
about
want
to lose his job.
I don't
what's
want
his face?
safety drafted in this entire draft. I don't want
No.
a single one.
Nope.
I don't care if
We
it's
got- We got Jay Ward already. We got Lewisine. One of those guys is gonna have to figure it out. We need to draft
man.
defensive tackles, defensive ends,
They trust him.
and cornerbacks.
here's some fodder for the Harrison
Smell
Smith.
weed.
Gone.
Harrison Smith, yes, I think so.
Probably. I think
so.
he hangs it up.
He
I don't. I
should.
mean, I wasn't as hard on him as a lot of people have
He has not
been, in
looked
my
great
opinion.
this
But
year.
yeah, he hasn't been like Harrison Smith.
No, we all thought he was gonna like. I mean,
He had moments.
Name like
Well, he had like one
Daniil
specific
Hunter-
game that he went crazy in.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was 3 sacks against Carolina, right?
or something.
Gary,
Carolina.
that's me smoking.
But like Daniil Hunter stepped up under this new defense. He's making a ton of money.
Yeah, I want to see
Yeah.
Reisner come back.
Yeah, Reisner no sack and like 450 snaps or something.
Yeah.
Like
I mean,
that. So
and Ed Ingram did. I mean, he still was up and down at a lot of points, but he definitely came back a little stronger as the season went on. I'd say not convinced by him, but
this whole season, people were talking about Ed Ingram being better. I think he was the same Ed Ingram because he still
Think
had
so?
Ed Ingram moments every
yeah, he
game.
did.
Yeah.
But I mean, there weren't. I mean, how many games did we have without? There was a lot of games where I was like, I
This
just
last game,
didn't
they
even
all
hear
played
about
like
Ed
shit,
Ingram.
though.
Yeah, Ed Ingram had one. He had
Darisaw was awful this last
yeah.
game.
Yeah, I mean, all of them. I mean, you
And
have it's
apparently,
tough, backup
Ed,
quarterbacks, but-
Ed Ingram's pass blocking grade was 8, or no, that was our center had like an 8 pass blocking grade or I don't know PFF grade
Yeah,
like 8. Like him and Ed McDaniel and Ed Ingram both had like their worst of the year or of all time.
yeah. Get a better center might help the whole line. That's true. And
yeah,
like
I'm
I-
not
like
drafting
I-
one in the first
like I've
round
said-
though.
No, and like I've said before, like Bradbury was definitely meant for more of the Mike Zimmer, like how Mike Zimmer wanted to run offense, more of a run first type offense, because he's not a big guy that can hold up in pass protection. He doesn't have the anchor. He's just not, and that was his big thing. He was quick and he was able to get to the second level fast. And a drop back passing offense, he's not big enough for it. I don't think.
I don't think we're going to go after a center. I think he's our center next year. He's got
I
3
can see it
years.
for sure, but
We
I'm
can
just
get
saying,
out
he
of
doesn't
it.
get offense
I
perfectly.
think
I don't
after 2 or most of it, and I don't think we're gonna go. Yeah, I mean,
There's
I
bigger-
like
there's
the
bigger
depth
needs
we
out there.
had, the
There's bigger
Quisenberry and Brandel, and then another guy. But so it's nice that we have some guys that the start of the season that weren't there, that you just weren't thought of, that are actually pretty good depth pieces now. But yeah, I would still, if there's a guy to have, out there, go get him, right? If it means benching Ed Ingram and honestly, I'm not completely enamored with Reisner, but I still like his pass blocking ability compared to most. But his run blocking is spotty sometimes. But I think overall he's a plus player. But if you can go get a guy that's like, holy shit, go get it, right? I don't care where we put him.
Yeah, just something to add a little.
I just
bit
don't think we're gonna mess with the center.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting. Plus,
It'll be interesting. I would
find him too. It'd be tough to.
And we don't have a third round pick, which I didn't realize until recently for whatever reason.
Didn't we have 2 fourths or something like that?
Is that what it is? Do we have 2 fourths? I hope
Let me
so.
find out.
Wasn't that last year? That was the last year we had 2 fourths. I know. I think.
I think
right?
it happened again though.
I hope so. Because that
we
annoyed
got-
me. I'm like, damn, we traded a second and a third for TJ, man. We better get like 5 first if we try to trade JJ. Ever.
Let's see. We have a first, second, fourth, fifth, sixth.
Okay, 2 fours.
So smart.
And a 7th round conditional from Atlanta through Arizona, apparently.
Ooh.
So repeat it again.
So we have a first, a second, 2 fourths, 2 fifths, and 2 sixths. And a 7th
Now one of
round
those
conditional.
fourths is pretty good, if I'm not mistaken. Whose is it?
There's one from Detroit and just the one we have.
Not good.
Well, that
Never
one's
mind.
pretty. That one's pretty good.
That one's the good
It can
one.
be if we lose to the Lions.
think-
And then the 5th rounders, Kansas City, Cleveland. That's not great. So
Who's the quarterback from volunteer? I forgot who it was.
for
That was the guy that
Tennessee,
came in for Hooker last year, right? I don't know. He had a lot of hype going into the season, but I don't think I heard a lot from him.
No.
Most of the best centers are drafted in the second. Humphrey McCoy sometimes late first.
Yeah,
Joe
John
Milton the third. Is that him?
Milton the third.
Garrett Bradbury in the first rounder.
Joe Milton the third. 2,800 yards.
Yeah, Joe Milton.
20 TDs, 5 interceptions. He must got rushing.
Yeah,
Think
it'd
he
have
was
been
good
really.
this year.
The quarterback class would have been really.
Yeah, 7
interesting if,
TDs and rushing.
For Hawkinson, 2023 second became a fourth. 2024 third became a fourth. Oh, okay.
I think it would have been really
I got
interesting
you.
had Ewers and Shadir Sanders came out this year. That'd have added a lot more quarterback.
I
But I think that's
know.
a big reason why they're not doing it. I think they want to, because I mean,
Yeah,
watching Ewers, I think Ewers needs one more year in college to really kind of hone in his skills. I think next year he could be a top 5 pick.
And are you taking the quarterback that led your team to 1-8 in the conference and whatever it was?
That's also true. Yeah.
I mean, it's Colorado, but yeah, and not even to his fault, but there's just that whole thing with all the hype with them earlier in the season and everything for it to kind of just go down the shitter. And then I'm sure GMs don't care.
Wait, you guys
about
aren't
it.
believers? You guys didn't believe in him?
I mean, I kind of was. I was like,
I bought in early, and then I bought in early, and then kind of loved the downfall. I don't
well,
know.
it was a cool story. It's a cool story. It's hard not to. And I lived right.
Well,
next
I hate
to, right
I hate
next
to
to
talk about
there
that.
throughout the
You're
process.
talking about how
or
like
whatever.
great your players are and that mature and then you see the video on the sideline of them stomping on the O at Oregon and talking shit to the other team, after a win, the other team after a win, and it just getting in their face. I'm like, and you see them in the sidelines. They're doing a lot of talking to me. We're gonna do it on the field. We're gonna show them because some of the players back when he was coaching previously Colorado would actually say a bunch of shit to Deion Sanders as he's walking by, and he'd go in and say, "Hey, we're going to do our talk," and then to find out all his players do the same shit to the other team. It's like, I'm not rooting. And then if you heard guys on podcasts being interviewed about how they were let go by Colorado and how Sanders treated them, just you're gone, get out of here. And they lined up in a hallway, and he one by one told them to go. So yeah, that's kind of bad.
Yeah.
Interesting story.
It is interesting.
I'm not a fan anymore. I was a big fan. I'm like, I don't care now. I'm not going to root against him, but I just don't care now.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Texas was definitely the team to jump on the bandwagon instead of Colorado and
Yeah,
USC
Texas
and
had
all them.
a very good year.
I mean, they finished dead last in the conference.
Yeah. Dude, I thought once they beat who was that early team?
TCU.
Yeah, TCU.
TCU was not good this year, I don't think.
No, but then
They
of
were
course,
7-6.
obviously coming off of the national
national-
championship, and then early
Where they
in the
got
season,
trounced, right?
Yeah, they did.
got-
Which is
I
crazy
think-
that Georgia is kind of. I don't know what happened. What happened with Georgia because they just didn't even make.
They lost to Bama in the conference title game.
Oh, okay, that's what happened there.
But then I think didn't they just like absolutely demolish? Because I think Florida State sat like 16 to 17 players. I think they absolutely demolished them in their bowl game.
Yeah, it was horrible.
Yeah, to the point where
Like
even Georgia's
50.
coach came out and said, "This is ridiculous. Like we got to do something here."
Yeah,
What's the highest pick we can get if we lose? The highest pick they can get is if only we lose. I don't know, but highest pick overall we can get is 9th right now. It's from the sounds of it.
Yeah, which is going to be tough because we would if we lose, everybody below us, we've beaten them pretty much.
9th is the highest
Here,
pick.
I'll just do this real quick, even though I've done it 2 times today already.
Hold
Sorry,
on.
I'm gonna.
Let me just see if I can find an actual explanation.
Nope, I'm doing it. Sorry, I'm gonna have to cover you up for a second. Actually, I'll put Casey down here since he was denying me. All right, so we're at 12. The lowest we can go is 9 because I'm believing that if the Jets were to win and us to lose, that we would win the tiebreaker there. So we can't go past the Jets. But we already beat Atlanta. We beat Vegas, meaning we cannot. If we were to lose and they were to lose, they would get the tiebreaker on that. There's a real chance. I think there's a real chance that if all 4 of us lose, yeah, obviously we'd still be at 12, as you can see, 7 to 9. So we can't worry about that. And then the furthest we can, if we win,
tie goes to strength of schedule. Right?
What's that? Tie goes
goes
to head-to-head, then it goes to in division, and then it goes to similar teams that you played. And then from the other side, if we were to win, we lost to Cincinnati, we lost to Denver, so we'd win that tiebreaker. And then Seattle, I don't know Seattle. That's the one question mark. I don't know who wins that tiebreaker between us and Seattle if they were to lose and we were to win. But the highest we can go for sure is 14, and it might even be 13.
Tiebreakers in the NFL draft are settled by opposing strength of schedule. So if your schedule is tougher,
I thought it was head-to-head. It's head-to-head first.
No, that's playoffs, man. It's strength of schedule.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I remember hearing head-to-head doesn't matter for draft picks.
Oh, dang. Okay, so that's a totally different thing then.
So all that stuff that
Casey was right. I'll put him back up here.
All that stuff that Jamie just said, wrong.
Wrong.
Because I know it for a fact because it happened to us once where we dropped like 5 spots because our strength of schedule was tougher. And no shit, it sounds like the opposite, right? Because we have a same record, but because our strength of schedule was harder, like our teams had a bigger win percentage.
Yeah.
We
actually got ranked last out of the ties. That happened to us.
At 7-9, the Vikings are currently tied with the Raiders, Bears, and Falcons. 12th pick. With the Raiders 11th, Bears 10th, and Falcons 9th. That's because the Falcons, Bears, Raiders have a lower strength of schedule.
Yeah, the team with the easiest
schedule
gets the fucking top pick.
Yeah, head-to-head. Oh yeah, I totally butchered that.
If they lose to the Lions on Sunday, where they're 5-point road underdogs, they will finish 7-10 and be picking no lower than 12th. So if we lose, 12 is the lowest possible pick we could be at.
Yes,
which would be fine. You can get penalties.
Yeah, but that's where we're at. Right? If we lose,
yeah.
If we lose, we can't. Or of course, we're not going to go any higher than that. That wouldn't make any sense. But I think if we win, I think the highest we can go. Actually, I don't know now because of the strength of schedule thing. So, what is the highest we can go?
Well, if all three of those teams lose, we can go to 9.
Yeah.
Or no, win. I mean the opposite.
If they all win,
if we win,
they all win, and we lose, then we could go to 9.
If we win and the people ahead of us all lose.
No, other way around. They win.
Okay, so if the Vikings lose and those 3 teams, being the ones that have better strength of schedule, all win, the Vikings would jump to 9.
No, but how about the opposite?
We go the other direction.
So yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, what's the worst? If we win, what is the highest, like the lowest pick or whatever?
I think it's like, isn't it like 14, 15?
I said 14, but I was totally wrong.
I heard 15, but I haven't looked at it. What's the records behind us?
8-8.
I don't know. This one's just saying how they can get to 9.
All right, it's time to talk about the playoff. How will we get to the playoffs?
I got it.
We gotta win and have 4 teams lose. 4 out of 5 teams lose.
Here, I'll put you back up here because you know what? Screw Casey. I'm just kidding. So I have this. Let's not butcher this one because this one is as straightforward as it gets. So, from Dustin Baker, if we beat the Lions and the Packers lose to Chicago, Seahawks lose to Arizona, and either New Orleans or Tampa Bay loses.
Oh, it's only 4 things total.
4 things. It's not. I mean, it's not impossible. It's not impossible, but it's definitely not.
And what do we drop to?
I don't even know.
Yeah, the worst would be 14 teams.
So if we made playoffs, we'd be at, what would that be? 14 teams. So 20. Can't do math.
Did you guys?
What would it be? 18, 19?
Did you guys see that? Did you guys see that quote? I think Darren Wolfson, I can't remember, he was on Score North or something, about like a insider for the Vikings, what he said about Kwesi. Did you guys see that quote?
He said the same thing 2 months ago.
What was that the thing? Like if he identifies something he wants, he's going to try his hardest to go get it or something like that?
He said that exact same thing on I saw that quote and I'm like, That's the same shit you said 2 months ago before we played San Fran.
Oh, so maybe they were already looking at draft picks at that point, because that's when everything looked like.
That's what I'm saying. That's when the reports were already coming out that we were doing extensive looks at JJ McCarthy and Jaden Daniels. Like,
but also
writing's on the wall. I've not seen that.
Also, there were reports out there that we wanted Will Levis, so you can't always believe what you hear.
Well, and that was the thing.
I don't know.
What I said when he said it the first time.
Can see that there's scouts at their games.
When he said that the first time, I was like, in the first round, are you sure? He's never moved up in the first round. He's only moved down. So I was like, where are you getting that from? He doesn't go after and get that guy in the first round. He's actually freaking bailed and gone to the 32nd.
He identified wanting to get a couple more draft picks.
He identified and then didn't do anything. Didn't go get it, right?
But it is funny how they tossed in the caveat, like, he's not always going to get there, but he's going to try. I'm like, okay.
Yeah. That's
cool.
No, we don't. I don't want.
If you're on that show, you got to go with the narrative. So it's like,
best we draft is 19 if we make playoffs.
Right, because there's 14 teams.
Yeah.
And so 32 minus 14 is 18. So the next spot would be 19.
Yeah.
Let's go. There you have it. But yeah, I don't think we're gonna win this game. Actually, you know what? I think I do. We do.
Hey, how about this? So their coach comes out and says that he was trying to deceive the other team by sending 3 linemen to go up to the ref to make them forget which lineman, or to make the other team forget which lineman was going to be eligible. So he purposely tried to deceive the other team by sending a shell game out there, and all 3 of those guys ran up to him. The ref pictured it as 70. He tells the other team 70 is eligible. No reason to guard number 68, right? Mm-hmm. So that, I mean, he should have just kicked the field goal out or kicked the extra point after that.
Give me a second, boys.
That was just a dumb move. What do you think about that? That was a dumb move by him.
To try to go for 2. It was very Dan Campbell like.
To continue to go for 2. I mean, it was 7-yard line.
It was very
I understand going for 2.
Yeah.
And that probably is good play. It just, he tried to deceive the other team, and instead he deceived the ref.
Yeah, at that point, I'm probably just taking the extra point, because that's, if you look at it now, that's
I'm taking an extra point.
Right. And if you look at it now, losing that game is huge for them, because they'd have been in the driver's seat for the
playing us to get to the 2 seed.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, because right now them and Dallas are tied for the 2 seed, so they're going to be playing. They're going to be playing for everything on Sunday at noon. Like, they have something to play for. So we play stupid games, win stupid prizes. That is honestly kind of the point. But hey, like, here's the thing. At least this year, like, my big question with Dan Campbell was like, was Dan Campbell going to be Dan Campbell when they were actually playing for something? And
he is.
To me, he is just Dan Campbell, and that is
Dan Campbell.
the type of coach he is.
But you got to respect it. But yeah, that was crazy. I mean, I knew when they got backed up, that was crazy for them. Obviously, obviously they were going to go for it once they got the false or the offsides or whatever. Is that what it was? Offsides, encroachment?
No, it was illegal touching.
Illegal touching. Yeah. Then it was like, of course, I mean, if they're going to go for it when they're back, of course they're going to go there. Yeah. And that first one though was BS, right? Like, that's what people are saying.
I was just talking about it. They sent, he purposely tried to deceive the other team. He admits it, that he sent 3 guys up to do a shell game, basically, of who's going to be eligible. And then the ref runs away. He's looking at 70 running up to him, and he's got 70 in his head. And he goes and tells the other team, the defense, 70 is eligible. 70's covered on the line. Mm-hmm. He's not the end guy on the right side. 68, who's actually the one who was supposed to be eligible, was uncovered on the outside. They ran a crossing route by the receiver, and he just stepped into the back of the end zone, and to the side in the end zone, and they threw it to him. He's wide open. Well, the team was told that 70 was eligible. 68's the tackle. They're not going to guard him. So if anything, the refs were fucking over the Cowboys too by telling them the wrong player. So, I mean, the whole bitching about, hey, the refs screwed us. Well, they screwed the Cowboys too by telling them the wrong player was eligible. And they had 2 penalties because they said 70 was eligible. and 70 was covered, and you can't have a eligible player covered at the end of the line, or you can't have a player report as eligible and be covered at the end of the line. So that's but they went with the illegal touching penalty. They had 2 penalties on it.
I mean, Steve, if there's a guy that can bring the lines to the playoffs, that dude deserves all the credit. I think he does.
But I do see their point. Like that offense is pretty explosive, and that most of that comes from Ben Johnson, who's like the hottest coaching candidate out there right now. So
let's get a head coach's job, man,
or the GM, because the GM has done a fantastic job.
He's really good drafting, that's for sure.
Yeah,
and like
right. That's
specifically that. And the fact that you got Jared Goff and picks in like a throwaway thing, and Goff has actually worked out for them. Like, yeah, those are some pretty good moves there.
And then you traded, even though Jameson Williams hasn't been much, but you were able to move up to the 12th overall pick in 32 for pretty much nothing.
Grabbing Sam Laporta. And then subsequently tearing the ACL of the guy you just traded to us in tight end TJ Hawkinson.
Yeah.
I'm kidding. Yeah.
I wanted to punch some Lions fans in the face.
They're talking about...
Okay. We got Mike Sports vibes. Ooh.
Penix number 1. I know he
Williams
said Penix is number 1.
3, Knicks 4. No Drake May, Mike.
Dang, I haven't looked into him yet hard enough. I've said this a million times, but
Knicks over May.
I just think
Knicks is sounding like he's a surefire second round pick. Is kind of what the feelings are. He kind of feels
he's getting mocked in the middle. He's been getting mocked in the middle of first rounds.
I see him being the Will Levis of this draft, where he ends up sliding to the second round a little bit.
It could be. The thing with him is, he came out of high school, 5-star recruit, I believe. I believe it was a 5-star recruit.
When was the last time 5 quarterbacks went in the first round?
When was the last time? Last year, only 3. Thing with Knicks, though, he's put up in big games this year.
Right, but that's the thing. Like the fact he couldn't do it at Auburn, so he had to move on to Oregon, and he's been getting better, obviously. But that's the main concern. Sounds like people are wondering if he's a system quarterback and it takes him too long to develop, and if his skills are going to translate to pros. It'll be interesting. I don't know. He about to collect Social Security. He is old. I think he's already in his late 24s.
2021 probably.
Penix is like
Zach Wilson,
24
Lance, Justin Fields, and nope, 4.
Oh, they had 4. Because it would be 5 which it feels like there's a good chance this year it could be. Though it does kind of feel like, especially if Penix wins the national championship, you feel like 4 guys for sure.
5, Mac Jones.
Oh, okay.
There was 5.
So that was the last time. That wasn't even that long ago.
Top 15.
Dang. Okay.
Patriots drafted him 15th overall.
Yep.
Well, sucks. Now, how many years has it been? This is year 3?
This is his 3rd year, I think.
3rd years, and then now they'll be taking a different direction for sure.
He does, Steve. He really does. I love Penix.
Oh, dude, it does. He does.
Penix makes plays happen.
Penix not winning nothing. Oh yeah, I forgot. Zoe is definitely got to be a Michigan fan.
Oh yeah, that's right. With JJ McCarthy out there
with SK, and then I didn't realize Rap was a big Michigan guy.
When I first met him, he was telling me he went to Michigan. Fucker.
No,
dude, I was just kidding.
JJ, that's why I until he proves me wrong, and I watch it and I actually watch how he plays or watch him in the title game.
What up, Zoe? By the way,
he will be JJ McCarthy to me.
JJ McCarthy. I don't feel that way. I can't say that about anybody. I have to look deeper into it. I liked what I saw in Penix from that one game, but I still feel like I have to look into it more. Before
I watched him play Oregon earlier this year, and he looked pretty much the same.
With Penix? Who won that game again? Was it Oregon or did Washington end up winning it?
Washington's undefeated.
They're undefeated.
Oh, yeah, duh. Never mind.
They won the title.
Sorry, I'm off today.
I should not be in a good mood today. I don't know why.
It's because it's off season, and we're going to get a quarterback of the future this one, man. That's exciting.
JJ Stang. No, you think so? Oh, or like Justin Jefferson, JJ, or
No,
JJ McCarthy staying in college?
McCarthy. There was people. I just saw today. People are talking about Harbaugh and JJ McCarthy staying back or whatever.
Oh, even though they're talking about Harbaugh going pro.
Harbaugh would be the type of guy that would say that to the player, and then he would go take a job.
I mean, if they win a national championship, you'd think JJ would leave after that, right?
Right. Yeah.
I mean, you kind of
so?
just did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
But I'm hoping. I want as many quarterbacks options as possible. So, I mean, this was going to look crazy if Sanders and Ewers wouldn't have stayed back.
Yeah. But again, I think those
crazy.
are two guys that definitely, like, obviously Nick's out of eligibility, I'm sure, can't afford another year in college. And then but Ewers and Sanders are the two that I think next year they're going to be pretty high picks. I like Ewers. I like a lot of what I saw from him on the field. I do question him from like a leadership perspective, though. He seems pretty quiet and kind of sits.
Does Manning transfer?
No, I think he stays.
I don't know. I'm not convinced by that.
He wasn't in the portal or anything, was he?
Did you guys see that picture from media day? How like it showed Ewers sitting there at a table, like looking behind him, and there's a whole crowd of reporters surrounding Arch Manning as he's just sitting on like a bench or something near the sidelines. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Wait, never mind.
I wasn't high on Archie Manning, or what's his name? Archie Manning.
Archie Manning.
Yeah, Archie Manning. Coming out of high school because he was playing for like a 2A team in California, and I was looking at the offensive linemen and defensive linemen that he was going against. And I'm like, God, he's like a 7-on-7 drill out there. I didn't think he was that great. Come on, I'm no offense. Obviously the stats were there, but I just think the competition wasn't there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. That's why I don't know if he was as hyped as people had him, but he is a Manning, so maybe that was just that. Because if he was, I would for sure think he'd want to move schools. But if he's,
he was at the elite private school, whatever.
Right.
They probably do play higher level teams.
Well, why would you want to sit behind a guy for 2 years if you're supposed to be that guy?
Well, some guys do that. You sit for 2 years, you develop, you come out, you play one really good season. You don't need to go through another. You don't need to have another chance at injury. You go play well, you get drafted.
You gotta be Brady. He said, to beat the best or to be the best, I gotta beat the best, and that's why he went to Michigan. And he was 7th on the depth chart.
Yeah.
But
then he had to split.
We're not talking about the same high level of recruit though, but
yeah.
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how that one plays out too.
Texas was a weird option though for him.
Yeah.
But I guess it's like the facilities and the backing and where the most money is and shit like that. So that's a big deal now.
I know that is kind of crazy. Because, I mean, if I was a college quarterback, man, I think I would be waiting, especially like it depends. Not if you're going to make way more money if you're like a first round quarterback or something. But if you're like a quarterback where you don't know if you're going to get drafted or not, like, why would you leave? I mean, sketch.
Yeah.
Like you got to literally be like,
transfer. If I was like a senior, but I had an extra year of eligibility, I'd be going like, who's got the the money. I'll come to your school.
Especially
like the Gophers getting that quarterback out of was that New Hampshire?
Yep.
That guy had some crazy stats.
Mm-hmm. And then they got like the top recruit quarterback out of Arkansas too.
I didn't realize this. The college I used to work for, Kaiser University here in South Florida, they're all over the place.
Yeah,
I worked at the campus here in Fort Lauderdale. They just won the national title. They only been a team for like 6 years, or 5 or 6 years. Or 5 years. They got 5 conference wins and a national title now. It's crazy.
Yo, everybody hit Too Evil up.
You just open your house to potlucks. Like, come on over. It's a big place.
It sounds good. I don't even know the last time I've been to a potluck.
I've only been to ones in churches.
Really? I've been to other people, like neighborhood ones and stuff.
Well, I guess
it's the best. It's like a buffet, pretty much.
It's like a buffet that all you have to do is make one thing, and somebody buy out of a box and throw it together 5 minutes before I showed up.
I'm the one that brings the roll. I bring the roll.
I guess I've had them at
roll and butter.
Yeah, but I bring the roll. Oh, I don't bring no butter. No, I just bring the rolls.
We'd have them at work at Dell when I worked in Nashville.
Oh, let's go, Too Evil.
Nice.
Oh, that's cool.
Definitely.
This was room.
Yeah, you guys definitely people.
Yeah, that's the details you need to sell the potluck. Like
Hey,
I got
everybody,
a whole,
come to my
rented
one
out a
bed,
room, man.
come to my studio
Bro.
apartment for our potluck tonight.
Yeah, come to my bedroom at my
Gary,
mom's
you gotta
house.
hit it up, dude.
No,
I
you
know,
gotta
Park's
sell
bad.
it. Sell the location, scenic view of the lake.
I'm not really convinced on anyone in our secondary right now. Mekhi Blackman has potential, and Byron Murphy could have played better. We need upgrades in our back. Yeah, I think there's no question. I like what we saw from
He's number one, man.
Blackman for the most part as a rookie cornerback for sure. But man, a Caleb Evans, definitely an up and down season.
Mm-hmm. Good tackler. Well, except for the
recently it was his
recently.
recently.
I thought he was a good tackler until the last few games.
I know. Yeah, he's been overshooting his tackles or whatever, and then questionable coverage for sure. But who knows? Maybe Andrew Booth has been this guy the whole time. He's been. I mean, he's
starting fights
right?
on the
he looks solid.
End of the game. Did you see that player? That guy in the hoodie actually hit Aaron Jones in the face.
Yeah, I saw that. His own
player. And then Aaron Jones gets pissed at Booth, starts shoving his hand in his grill.
That sounds.
I wonder any word on what happened there.
Sarah Tuiva, are you on Twitter? He is on Twitter because that's where we message him, I think.
But anyway, so the Vikings play the Lions this week.
Oh, what? They knew? I thought we were talking about quarterback.
Like hour.
Yeah, ultimately the Vikings.
Over. That's my thing. I'm ready for it to be done.
Hey, one more time, everybody. We're gonna give this away pretty quick here. Another Justin Jefferson rookie card. Even though the smart thing is to get the loss this week, we still would like to see Justin Jefferson hit that 1,000-yard mark. Get those hashtag goals in there, all that good stuff.
I want to be able to say that he set the record for the most consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. You know,
right?
He has to beat Mike Evans. Yeah, I know. That's what I want to say too. I'd like for him to. It'd be nice to hit the 1,000 mark. It would be nice. But we'll see.
Then you got Nakua Pakua or whatever his name is, about to set the rookie record.
Yeah. Though,
I don't Carson Wentz
Justin Jefferson
this week.
Justin Jefferson did it in a 17-week season. So
that's true.
So I don't care what happens in these 18. If it takes you 18 weeks to do it, I don't care. Because Jamar Chase already did it in 18 weeks too. But
yeah.
But right now, Justin Jefferson still has the most yards in the first four. We've
only had two
in the NFL.
Yeah, that was 4 years ago, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Dude, some egg rolls. Dude, egg rolls. Dank.
Well, fellas, anything else?
I guess
score
predictions and anything else on this Lions game here? I mean, not much. I just really want JJ to hit 1,000 yards.
Yeah,
ultimately, if we win, I'm not going to really be that mad. But if we lose, I'd probably prefer it, even though I think we're going to win, because we've had, and mostly because it's been a roller coaster season. So I'll start off with the score predictions. It's been a roller coaster season, starting off 1-4, winning 5 in a row, and losing, going 1-5 after that. It only makes sense for us to want to lose to some extent, and for us
2-7 with Justin Jefferson.
And 2-7, yeah, unfortunately, and for us to come in this game and win anyways. So that's why I got the Vikings winning 21-17.
21-17. Interesting. So here's I already outlined this one in our video that's dropping on Friday. But all right, so I'm gonna paint a picture for you. Vikings are down 27-21, driving down the field. Nick Mullins, a beautiful, beautiful shot to Justin Jefferson on the sidelines. JJ gets his 1,000 yards. Everything's great. He goes first down, back corner of the end zone fade, underthrows it, gets picked off. Vikings lose 27-21.
And he's throwing to Johnny.
It ends the year the way the season began, with stupid turnovers that lose us football games.
I'll go with Casey. I'll pay.
So I'm the only one that has the Vikings winning this.
I'm buying his picture and hanging it on the wall.
picking Casey's. That's the most likely scenario.
It is. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, but the funny thing is,
it'll be after a bad decision by their coach.
See, to me, it only would make sense for us to win when it makes no sense to win.
Well, that's another thing too. Like, watch in perfect fashion, we'll win and make the playoffs somehow. Sarah, I don't think the Lions. I don't think the Lions are going to pull their starters. They're still in it for the 2 seed, so I don't think they would. And Dallas doesn't play till later, so I don't think they would pull their starters.
Yeah, even though are they tied right now?
Well, and Dallas has the head-to-head, which does matter in playoffs. Yeah. Dallas has that.
It does matter. I was going to say, I was like, wait a second, I'm confused. Is it strength of schedule?
Philadelphia could actually still win the division too if Dallas loses. So there's a whole lot to play for this week.
Yeah. So be good.
On those teams.
Be good. All right, let's run this thing. Yeah, get your last hashtag Skols in here. And then, Justin Jefferson giveaway.
Absolutely.
I'm going to have to pick up some of these quarterbacks early and then just take our chance at which one's going to be. That's what's going to be sweet. I'm telling you right now. No matter what I'm going to. But, man, if we get a quarterback, I'm definitely going into next season with a lot of rookie cards of our quarterback. Early quarterback.
Watson.
I almost bought a Jaren Hall auto just in case, but I ended up not doing it. Yeah. All right, let's run this thing. 3, 2, 1, boom. Who do we got today?
If it's Gary again.
Last game. Gary's on a 3 in a row streak.
Gary's on a heater.
Sarah might have had the 3 in a row. Oh, Frozen North. Frozen, are you still in here? I haven't seen him in a minute.
Uh-oh.
Frozen North.
You have 30 seconds to claim your prize.
You have to be in here to win.
30 seconds to claim your prize. Otherwise, it moves on to the next one.
Yep. Yeah, I'm a big card guy. I just buy and sell mostly. And I have a couple guys. Like this card right here means I'll show you what I got.
Boys pulling out the big guns.
This card right here is a out of 10 CJ Ham rookie gold card and is up there with the best cards ever created of CJ Ham. Let's go.
Pretty soon, hopefully, when he gets pro, we can add an Esco Minnesota legend to those cards as well.
Yeah. Yep. See how
no Frozen North. I think we gotta.
All right. Sorry, Frozen. Here we go again. Where's my draw thing? All right. Who we got? I
saw you in there this time, Sarah. You're good.
Boom, boom, Mike. Oh,
hey, is he
Tim, I don't
here?
know if he's in. Man, they kind of did Mike dirty on that one. Tim, are you still in here? I think they'll see you. All right, Tim. I don't know. I haven't seen Tim in a while.
You have 30 seconds to claim your prize.
All right, let's run again. Hasn't been a whole 30 seconds, but I don't think Tim's here. It's been a while. All right.
5, 4, 3.
Sorry, Tim.
2, 1. Runner.
Who we got?
Gary, this is giving you a better chance.
Time's the charm. Third time's the charm. Boom, boom, boom. Two-tone.
Are you still here?
I still owe him cards because he wasn't able to figure out how to get me his address. We're going to keep going. Two-tone, are you in here?
We will keep going until there is a winner.
Now, look at this. Too Evil to Hope. It's like really selling this. He's got the downtown look over Minneapolis. You should have started with that.
Man, we're having some bad luck getting
all right,
people,
sorry,
getting
Two-Tone.
winners in here tonight.
I mean, if you're not subscribed, if you're in here and you've not subscribed, you have to subscribe. Otherwise, it's not going to work.
Spin again.
All right, spin again.
Roll it.
Feel like that means good things for Sodak. Good things for Sodak. Boom, boom. All right, do I even say it? I
Did you guys see my Twitter post?
And Sodak right there. Gary!
That's unfair.
It's official. Gary with the 4th win in a row. 4th win in a row.
Well, when you have to draw 5 times to find your first winner, there's a good chance that
That's crazy. Yeah,
Gary, we know where to find you.
Yeah, I know where to get it. I know where to find Gary. Dude, Gary's gonna have all these cards. Sarah has some serious competition for her luck.
If any of you, Frozen North, Tim, Two Tone Tony, if any of you guys watch this afterwards, this is why you don't leave until we're done.
Yep. But still,
exactly why you don't leave
guys, they need the watch hours.
If you go in there and you do watch it and you say you watch the whole thing over again, I'll give you a card. If you hear this.
But next time, just don't leave early. That's the best way to do it.
Jamie, are you proud of me? This is my illustration of the Vikings defense.
Dude, and actually that's the last thing I want to mention is I think Kevin O'Connell, someone came out to say today and saying like teams are figuring out our defense, and it definitely is. I mean, it is true. I mean, what it is people, what we should probably do on our offense sometimes, but they're just throwing short all over us early in these games, and it's just opening everything else for them. Like in the beginning of that Packer game, just constantly short. That's what, like, if you're going to blitz everybody or pull everybody back, you're going to open up the short throws.
Who said that a long time ago that I like what Brian Flores is doing, but it's easy to figure it out if you just throw short? I think I said that a couple times.
Well, you're at the end of games. That's what you.
We need to hire Casey as a game analyst.
Yeah, he needs to watch the game so he can go to the head coach or to the coaches and let them know.
Brian Flores, I watched.
He's a game dissector.
I watched Brian Flores' introductory press conference. He said he likes to blitz. Said he likes to be aggressive. Watch for that. That's all it took. That's all it took.
Watch that. Or he likes to pull people back. So you just have to
figure it out. You can figure it out, coaches.
Yeah, but I believe Brian Flores. I bet you in this Lions game, that doesn't happen. That's why we win, is because Brian Flores is like, all right, like I'm a defensive mastermind who knows how to scheme against specific teams, and he'll be on top of it. And then we win, even though no Viking fan really wants it.
He called me the next Zimmer. I don't want to be the next Zimmer.
So do we think Flores all right, one more thing. Do we think with how the season is ultimately ending, do we think that there's a better chance that Brian Flores sticks around next year?
I don't know. I think it all depends on the fit. If a good fit offers him a position and doesn't just use him for just an interview, I think he could leave. We'll see.
My original thought was that he would be selective, but now I'm like, the way his defense played the last 3 weeks, he should jump at a chance to get a head coach job.
I don't know. I still think he's going to be pretty highly regarded. Honestly,
I didn't say he wasn't. I'm just saying he better, instead of like taking his name out of the hat against the Cardinals, right? He should have stayed in. That would be if this was happening last year and his defense played this way 3 games in a row. He's not turning down the Cardinals job. That's what I'm saying.
Right. Yeah. But
I think he'll jump out any opportunity. Mm-hmm. If he has multiple, he'll take the best one, but he's not going to turn them down.
Yeah, I probably agree.
We'll see. But
hey, hopefully he stays around.
Yeah,
because he did pretty damn good, regardless of how these last couple games went. But
so next week, you are out.
Talent a year of teaching these guys how to fucking tackle.
Next Wednesday, I'm gonna go watch the Timberwolves beat the Celtics in Boston. So I won't be on the show next Wednesday.
So they already played the Heat in Miami, and I missed it.
So Dave, you still want to do one next week?
That was a good game.
Are we going to be on next week or nah? What do you want to do?
We can talk about it.
We'll talk about it after. So potentially, but other than that, we'll have all other shows will for sure be then just normal, I guess.
And at that, so by next Monday, we will know where we're picking in the draft.
We're talking draft as soon as Monday.
Unless we win, Chicago wins.
Oh yeah, unless we're in playoffs.
Someone else wins. Atlanta wins, I think, and then no, not Atlanta.
It's the Saints and someone else got to lose.
Saints and Tampa Bay.
And then
Saints and Tampa, one of them has to lose.
But maybe we'll be talking about playoff football next week. But I highly doubt it.
Maybe. But hey, it's not impossible.
You never know. You never
Tune
know.
into our playoff
I could pop in real
preview
quick.
next week,
Depends
Wednesday,
if
when the
Timberwolves
Vikings
are
are
winning
going
or
to be
not.
lined up against whoever's the second seed.
We could very well be like just next week not talking about anything else in 2023 and move on to what we're going to do in the future, and it'll be kind of fun to talk about. But lots to talk about quarterbacks coming up in the next few months here. It's gonna be something.
Yeah,
So,
I can't wait. And as soon as Monday. But everybody, thanks for popping in. See y'all next week.
see ya.